Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard.
やめろやめろどうだな助けに来た男に殺される気分は鉄十字団に恨みを持つ麻薬刑事さん
Andres, I'm surprised you're not in this.
格闘技世界チャンピオンスパイダーマン
That's right, folks. That right there is without question a better directed and acted movie than Captain Marvel ever was. Like, seriously.
That's right, folks. No Captain Marvel here on this live stream tonight, Andres. Only the Marvels. Right? Because, you know, it's coming, baby. The big one. But anyways, folks, Ahsoka, Part 7. Waiting for the rest of the team to show up here. It's just me and Andres, the pop culture guy, starting things off. Andres, Part 7. Dreams and Madness.
Which was foreshadowed last episode.
Was it a little filler-esque for you?
No.
No?
I mean, anyway, I don't know what's your opinion on Part 7, but it was very good. I seen the season finale today, so
you watched the finale ahead of time?
Yeah, and oh my god, want to discuss that more. But anyway, episode 7, great episode. I'm excited to talk about that.
Well, see, now that puts you in a different footing than me, because having seen the finale, Part 7 probably you probably look at it differently now, right?
Well, different. Well, for particularly one character, but we'll get to that when we do it next week.
That being probably Ezra.
No.
No, Ezra's favorite.
Sir, I'm talking about Ray Stevens.
Oh, Ray Stevens, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, we'll discuss that more.
You mean your Monica Rambeau Award recipient?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, Mr. H.
Have you contemplated that far ahead yet?
Nope.
Well, you got 1 week to decide on your Monica Rambeau Award recipient. Folks, just so you know, the Monica Rambeau Award recipient goes to every secondary character or, you know, breakout character in the series. It's not the main character of the show or whatever that breaks out or takes over. Or, for instance, I named the award after Monica Rambeau from the WandaVision series, which I picked up Loki season 1 at Best Buy yesterday, Andres.
Uh-huh.
How about that, huh? $49, I think I paid for it.
Pretty
Might have been $39, I'm not sure. But if they've got Loki out, then that means that they must have dropped WandaVision too, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? They must have just not had them at the store, because I asked the clerk about it and everything. I did. I'm like, you guys have WandaVision? Do you have Falcon and Winter Soldier? And he's like, well, we don't have them in stock, but I'm sure we have them.
Yeah, I mean, they're always in stock. I mean...
Well, you know that's new, right? Did they just put that stuff out there?
No, I mean, it's still in the stores or online. Like
no, I'm saying that Disney just decided to finally put this stuff out there commercially so you could buy it.
That doesn't make sense.
No, I'm saying before you couldn't, up until just like a month ago or two ago, you couldn't just buy Loki on DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, so like, you know, the viewers don't understand what Jeff is talking about. Recently, I actually read an article about this. It was like last month, I think. that they say they're gonna release the first half, right, of the Marvel Disney Plus, shows from WandaVision to Loki to be in DVD, right? Because like the streaming service, like kind of done that. Like if you like Stranger Things did this, they actually put like a really cool like DVD release date when they're like the VHS cassette. Like that's really awesome.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, if you go to Walmart or Target or whatnot, it's there. So so that's usually how these streaming services do.
They have a VHS version.
Oh, they're pretty cool. So check it out.
Well, they're doing this because I think they initially I think they meant to keep everything in house. They wanted to keep everything MCU right in there on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
But they've lost so much money and they've shed so many subscriptions, so many subscribers in the last 2 years alone that they need to make money. I think that's the bottom line, right?
Maybe.
You think money could have something to do with that?
I mean, well, the whole like industry told us that the streaming service don't make money. So
I guess so, huh? I mean, I don't know. Some of them seem to do okay, and some of them don't. But I mean, basically, folks, coming off part 6 of Ahsoka, we of course had the whole Purgle deal, where they kind of switched over from Ahsoka and kind of finished more like kind of centered the episode more along the lines of like Morgan Elsworth, Thrawn, and what would be Sabine's, being set free to basically purposely to find Ezra with the turtle people, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck they're called, I forget. The Twack. Who the fuck those? No, that's I'm thinking of somebody else. But we had it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed part 6. We had Mary Elizabeth Winston's character, Hera Syndulla, getting called back in front of the Senate, committee or whatever, whatnot, which we started right off with in this episode, part 7.
Yeah.
Right? We saw Monica. We saw our good friend over here, Mom Mothma, and that one senator that really hates, seems to really hate Syndulla. And like Ahsoka wants to doesn't believe in Thrawn and everything and whatnot. That asshole guy.
Yeah.
I put him in the thumbnail in the 1 week. Remember with Jar Jar. Like Jar Jar could beat this guy's ass. Did you see that thumbnail?
I mean, I can believe Jar Jar to beat the guy.
I think Jar Jar can probably take him, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of a wussy. But so we ended up basically with starting off this episode with that, Syndulla being again well represented and well acted by Mary Elizabeth Winston in front of the Senate, the new Republican Senate committee that sort of oversees things. Think of it as like a UN panel almost, and a Star Wars relic that ends up being C-3PO shows up. Right?
Yeah.
At the behest of a certain Senator Morgana, right? I just watched Obi-Wan, Andres.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Did you watch it?
No.
I just watched it. I've got 1 episode to go. I've got episode 6 to go.
So you saw all the 5 episodes this week?
I saw 5 episodes. Yep. I got to watch the 6th episode probably tonight. I'll watch episode 6. And I'm still watching Rebels, too. I'm in season 2 of Rebels. I'm getting pretty caught up, man. I watched all the Thrawn stuff that there is. I watched all the novel stuff on YouTube. I'm still thinking about getting the novels, too. But so basically, Senator Morgana sort of they sort of use deception to say that essentially because Miss Morgana wasn't attendance of the Senate hearing that. Oh, what's up, Cyber?
Hola.
How you doing, brother? Your issues straightened out?
At this moment.
That's good to hear, brother. we were just getting into how a Senator Morgana popped up again in part 7, Dreams of Madness, and sort of through C3PO got Commander Syndulla and Ahsoka off the hook after that one asshole senator seems to be out there to get their asses or whatever and whatnot. That prick dude, whatever his name is, I don't even know what his name is. Insert whatever like asshole name you want to give that one guy that seems to be out to get them. And it was cool how they mentioned Leia twice now, right? Even though thank God they're not using the stupid whatever you want to call it, the digital imaging crap is like they did during the trilogy. I'm glad they didn't do that. And that's actually my first question, Andres. Are you happy that they're just sort of like referencing Leia, and they're not delivering some kind of like digitally enhanced younger version of herself, a la like Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian?
Yeah, thank goodness. I mean, like with Luke, it's different because Mark Hamill's still alive, so you're able to do that. But I mean, you can easily use another actor that looks like Mark Hamill, like Sebastian Stan looks like him. I don't know why Lucasfilm could do that. It's just weird. Anyway, but I mean, look, Lucasfilm kind of did this already. Like they did that with General Tarkin, who's played by the late great Pierre Cushioning in Rogue One. And then, of course, I don't know if the Rogue One team, like, of course, it was a fortune, but Princess Leia, of course, the late great Carrie Fisher passed away, like before Rogue One, I think, opened. So they had that like cameo there was like, oh my god, just like so poor taste. So they already crossed that line already. So, but I'm very happy that they're not doing it and they're keeping it, just by dialogue, which is good. And using other Star Wars characters, like I think using C3PO makes sense, So he's because it fits with the continuity. Because the thing, I guess we have to address like if people are kind of confused about the timeline, it's like, well, this is before the sequel trilogy, so and seeing what the Force Awakens, like C3PO is with, General Organa during that time, so it makes sense that he was the one that went there. So it makes sense. So I enjoy it. Pretty cool. I wish we saw more of Ha, the General, Mary Wiston's character, because she's been underutilized as a character in this series. Like we get beat. Like she's a great actress. She's definitely perfect for the character. I just want more of her. Hopefully, if there is, the rumors are saying that Lucasfilms want to make a season 2 of this show. I want it so I can get more of Winston to play more of this character and flesh out more. But yeah, so it's a good opening sequence. I mean, nothing special besides just like setting up the Thrawn threads. Like it's like yeah, we know Thrawn is coming in. So.
Well, it gives you an excuse to use her, right? Cyber.
I'm Cyber.
Cyber. Is that right, Cyber? The Syndulla character that Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays. It gives you using these hearings and stuff like that, and whatnot. It gives you a reason to inject her into the show.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have her as the person that's in trouble, yes.
Right. But no, I mean, just to sort of allay Andres is, the lack of use of the character, which I somewhat agree with him to some extent. I feel like, I don't think she's being wasted because this is Ahsoka's series, right? But she is a part of a big part of the Rebels deal and whatnot and everything. So you would expect her to get some screen time. Did you like? I love seeing C3PO. How did you feel about that whole deal? What did you think of the original question?
Well, I yelled at the top of my lungs when he popped up because I didn't expect to see C3PO in this, so I was psyched as shit. And I thought that was awesome. I love that they brought him in and had him interject into this conflict with that evil senator who, for some reason, thinks he's higher and mighty than anybody. So I think that's pretty funny. But, I mean, I think that, the show is called Ahsoka. It's supposed to be about Ahsoka. So I mean, the screen time that certain characters have definitely have been a little more than Ahsoka. So I do believe that, some of the characters, I think they've had enough screen time. I think, General and Duel, I think she's had plenty of screen time. Every time we see her, it's great to see her. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think she's a great actress. I enjoy her in pretty much anything I've seen her in. And I think that she does a good job. But overall, I don't see any character having too much time, or I would say, not enough time throughout the series, because I feel a lot of them are overshadowing Ahsoka's scenes. So I feel that Ahsoka's not getting enough out of all the characters. Ahsoka is not getting enough time, because we went a whole episode without seeing her. I think almost twice now we've had, where it was like one scene and then a whole episode not seeing her at all. So I think that definitely being named Ahsoka, you think that she'd be on the forefront in every single episode, and she hasn't been. So if anything's lacking, I would say her presence is lacking out of all the characters.
Well, and that would go back to part 6 probably, would be one of the episodes where we really didn't see her, because it really focused on Sabine and Thrawn, right? The emergence of Thrawn finally, you know what I'm saying? Now that, Ellsworth and whatnot, and the Dart sisters and everything and whatnot, and that whole deal. After we get past the senatorial hearing, oh, there's Mr. Leach. There he is. What's up there, Mr. Leach?
Okay. Okay.
Your audio's a little bit low.
How about now?
You sound okay.
Better.
I was just asking Leach the introduction where we see C-3PO and we hear the name Senator Organa again and whatnot and everything, right? And they kind of insert Leia in.
Yeah.
But we don't get the digitally enhanced deal or any of that kind of crap.
Right.
Like in the trilogy. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
And the use of C-3PO, Cyber really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. Andres did too. You feel like they're doing a good job handling, the insertion of kind of like some of the old guard, even though they're, even with the timeline being, like you said, Andres, being a little wonky. And Cyber had just mentioned, and we just discussed whether or not Cyber had posed whether or not Ahsoka's getting enough screen time in the series, the first series.
Yeah, I don't know, especially during this current episode we're reviewing, she wasn't in it at all, right? Except for the very, very end. She
gets a little bit. She gets some screen time when she gets chased through that debris field and whatnot, everything, right? When she first gets shot at, when they come out of the hyperspace and they get out of the circle, and then she fights Baylan Skull briefly later on, and like teams up with Sabine.
That's
right, and Ezra, right? But that's kind of it. It's a short episode. It's only like, I think before this credits, I think it's only 40 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on that first sequence where they go in front of the New Republic senatorial deal or whatever, whatnot?
Yeah, I don't know if that one guy, the guy's a real prick. Like I don't know if he's like a mole for the Empire or what, but he just seems like, but I've always had an issue with like whenever it comes to the rebellion, or after the Empire is gone, then this so-called rebellion, they don't want to do anything. Remember in Rogue One, they had all the information. They were running off to Scarif and everything, and they're like, no, we're not going to back this one. And it's kind of the same thing here,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's almost like they're asking for another rebellion, a rebellion against a rebellion, or the New Republic, whatever they call it.
Well, it gives Baylan Skull kind of like almost like more credence to like his whole like deal that he says to Chati, last in part 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says that he's just sick of this like this circle.
Yeah.
I'm saying this vicious circle. Like he wants that's the new beginning that he seeks. Right? Like is this kind of crap, it feeds it.
Right.
because it's just like in Andor how they inserted sort of this sort of trope that like the New Republic is weak.
Yeah.
It's infiltrated by the Empire at like every scope, every level. Right? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you get what I'm saying. That seems to be a trope that they want to continue to play. But what do you think about the screen time? I mean, you're a big Rebels fan.
Yeah.
But this is the Ahsoka series.
Correct.
So do you think that Ahsoka's getting done well in terms of, you know, it is her show?
Yeah.
Through Port 7?
Yeah, episode 7. I mean, there wasn't a lot. Or am I confusing with 6? There was one that she.
You think it's 6 with it? She's barely in 6.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. I'm talking about the wrong episode. I watched episode 8 and I'm all like reeling from that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was crazy good, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Andres were talking about that already. I imagine it probably influences how you view Part 7 a little bit when you've already. So I haven't seen the finale yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it probably is really good. But Cyber, going to you again. You know, when we actually do finally get Ahsoka into into play, and we get Juan, and they they sort of they get shot at by Thrawn's forces. And they get into that, the debris field and whatnot and everything. And Thrawn actually tells them, tells Ellsworth and whatnot, everything that he thinks is a strategic move to let her go and kind of just, pick where she wants to, choose to, enter the planet and whatnot, everything. And then they'll just be one step ahead of her, right? Before we head into Sabine and Ezra and the turtle people on their little fucking stroll or whatever, like whatever the fuck they're called. They're not even worth it. Those turtle people aren't even worth having a name. Like we can have a discussion about them later, but what'd you think of now that we did get Ahsoka into the episode? Did you enjoy what the space stuff and everything and whatnot? I like the fact that Ahsoka can handle her business with when it comes to flying.
The whole fight sequence there was great. I mean, it's hands down. This episode was fantastic because it had so much action in it. It just was action. I loved it. And, I mean, Ahsoka, she flies the ship okay. I mean, I think Huang did just the same when he was flying it too, eventually and later in the episode. And, I mean, I think that the action sequences were really well done. Lots of great action. I love all the spaceships flying through. I love when the whales finally get there and they're, having to battle the asteroid field, which was really cool. Or the, not asteroid, but bomb field.
Their graveyard. Well, yeah, the bomb field too, but that's where that's where the Purgles go to die, and that's what their ring around the planet is.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed all it. I love that this episode had a lot more Ahsoka in it. We got that great little sequence while they're still waiting to exit the whale they're inside the mouth of. She's practicing with none other than Hayden Christensen again, Mr. Darth Vader, teaching her some things still, even though from the grave. And I think that was really great, showing her practicing and coming to accept Anakin as this great, was a great teacher that he really was. He was really great at what he was, even though he turned to the dark side. He still was a really amazing person. So I appreciated that, and I thought that was really well done there too as well. So great little section there with a lot of great action.
Mm-hmm.
Jassem, what's up there, Real Wrath of Khan?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, brother. Listen, I was just asking about Part 7, Dreams of Madness, asking everybody about the initial sequence where we see Syndulla and C-3PO pops up and whatnot on behalf of Senator Morgana. Mm-hmm. Right, to kind of get her out of that tight spot, her and Ahsoka, and then we get into Ahsoka kind of like in that debris field with the Purgle still, and we get her, getting chased by some of Thrawn's, fighters and whatnot, everything. They're allowed to finally just, enter into the planet wherever they want. We get some of the training. I thought the Ahsoka training scene that Cyber just mentioned was great with the with the Anakin. Digital image or whatever and whatnot, right? I think that he came from Channel Warriors, didn't it?
Shadow Warriors.
Yeah, episode part 7 or part 5. I mean, remember didn't he say something like that, or am I thinking Clone Wars?
I was thinking more like Clone Wars.
Because I know I've heard him say that whole sequence before, whatnot, and everything, right? But either way, what were your thoughts on that whole deal? Did you geek out on seeing C-3PO and everything? And
I thought it was beautiful to see C-3PO there. One thing that I was surprised was that when he tried to come into the gathering, the meeting, it's like the guards, like they saw him as like a normal droid. When, if you think about it, do you ever see any other droid that's like painted in gold like C-3PO? No. And C-3PO was famous for being part of the rebellion. So it's just funny to see that like they just
Security
prevented
stopping him at the door.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Security stopping him at the door, like, oh no,
I
you
know.
can't come here, bro.
Right. That's all I could give.
okay, what about did you enjoy seeing Ahsoka and sort of her maneuvering through that debris field and everything and whatnot, as we got the last of seeing the Purgle and whatnot, that sort of like minefield they hit wherever, whatnot, everything, and then the discussion between Thrawn and Ellsworth and whatnot, or Ellsbury, whoever the hell her name is.
Yeah, okay, literally when they like first came into that new galaxy, when you like hear all these explosions, the first thought that came to mind was, does Thrawn have like a fleet of ships that are just shooting at the Purgo? Like, is this like D-Day? And then when the whale opened his mouth, the Purgo, it's like, oh, it's just a minefield.
Gotcha. That's that big Purgle too, that massive one that's like bigger than like like the big fleet ships and whatnot.
Yeah.
So Andres, what did you think of that whole sequence, that opening sequence with Ahsoka? Did you enjoy the training session that she did and whatnot and everything? And what did you think of her entry into the episode or part 7?
Well, it was a good way to start the episode. It's one of my favorite action scenes. Like, I mean, as Cyber brought up, this episode was full on action, and this opening tell you right away, like, here you want Ahsoka, you want every character being like just moving constantly, and that's like the whole vibe of this episode, which is good. So yeah, this opening was great. Like, I love the references of the previous Sith villains, like General Grievous, Count Dooku, and there was the other one I didn't recognize.
Ventress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that from Clone Wars, I guess?
Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, so like that was great.
That was Dooku's Padawan.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, now I remember. Yeah. I knew it was familiar. It's been a while since that show. But yeah, so I dug the training again. She is full on like Gandalf from the Two Towers / the Return of the King now. Like white wardrobe, white lightsabers. Like, she's on this mission full on, which is great. Her conversation with Mr. H, my favorite character of the show, is it's great, and the banter is just still awesome. I love when what was it, the gag when they went into the mines. They were like, okay, at least we have coverage from the space whales so that they don't get hit too much. And of course, immediately the space whales just hyperspace out of that place. Like, yeah, see ya. And then Ahsoka's line's like, you have to say that. And it was such a funny line. That was a good gag. But yeah, overall, great opening. Again, special effects have been pretty like top notch for this show, and they haven't really dropped the ball in the effects, and they still use practical effects with the little creatures, those turtles / snail creatures, whatever you want to call them. They look great, like that's as always the Star Wars things. So but yeah, so opening great. I'm excited to talk more about the other action scenes that we got.
They're just fucking useless though, the turtle people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, they're fucking like.
I think we should have a debate about that.
Yeah.
Why, you're down with the turtle people?
I mean, they did pretty good in this episode.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
I mean, okay, like they cannot beat the Ewoks if we have to be honest ourselves. Like the Ewoks,
Hmm.
oh come on,
You want a lot more effective in battle than like those fucking things.
yeah, like they at least have like sticks and like weapons. They killed in Return of the Jedi. Like here, these turtles just like had like a sling, whatever, you know. It's like
Yeah.
okay,
It-
David versus Goliath.
Yeah, they're definitely not warriors.
yeah, no, I mean, Ezra would say that it's like they're peacekeepers. Like I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they're like they're non-confrontational, whatever. What'd you think, Jay? What'd you think of that? The sort of like space, mini space battle kind of scene we got with Ahsoka and whatnot, and Mr. H.
I actually thought it was a little too short. It's something that's like classic Star Wars is those dog fights, and there wasn't kind of like Khan was saying, um, there was no like ships that were shooting at him. It was like a minefield plus these turbo lasers that were coming from wherever. Um, yeah, but it was a little too quick. Not enough uh, uh, battle, I should say. Because it really wasn't coming from anywhere. There was nobody to fight. It was just to get away from getting killed. You know.
Yeah, no, and from there we just basically again this episode flow or this part flows really quick.
Mhm.
We head right into Ezra and Sabine, all right, and we get some Thrawn, and him, his strategy, right, and we get a little bit of Balin and a little bit of Shiitake, whatever her name is, Shinhati, and we'll talk later about sort of how he kind of like leaves her, like sort of like how he kind of steps away from her. I felt like, and how that was handled, and where that will lead to. But basically, we get Sabine and Ezra. I'm liking this actor that's playing Ezra so far. I think he's pretty good. Kind of just bantering back and forth as they're like in these little weird little devices that they're pan. I mean, where they're even go. I think they're going towards Thrawn, right, or something like that, or whatever, through the desert here. And basically at that point, we end up getting like our first real action, because that's when the forces show up. Thrawn has already instructed Skull and Shinati. He's going to be sending stormtroopers and whatnot, and everything, to go ahead and wipe out Ezra, and take out Sabine and whatnot and everything. Now Ahsoka comes into play, and we end up essentially with Skull kind of saying to kind of Shinati, you go ahead and take him out, because like your ambitions differ with mine, essentially, is what I took from like what he essentially said. And I felt like that was him parting with her. I don't know if I'm right about that. I mean, some of you guys have seen the finale, and some of you guys have, some of us haven't.
You're right. You're accurate.
Yeah. So, and we get essentially Sabine and Ezra taking on Shinati and the sort of Ravenger, scavenger type motherfuckers, that are like kind of like the sand people of this
Yeah.
planet or whatever, right? And they have a pretty good fight scene, and Ezra chooses to not use a weapon, which I thought was kind of stupid. Like, I'm just going to use the Force, type crap. I didn't know he got down like that, but apparently he does. And then they end up, sort of taking on Shinati, right, as Ahsoka kind of like, comes into play and takes on Skull again, right? Which, again, and I'll stop there. I guess probably I'll go to you, Jay. That was right there. We were right into the action, and I skipped a few things there, but feel free to to partake whatever you want from that. I'd say
Okay.
probably a third of the episode.
Yeah, I kind of felt that I kind of felt disappointed that when we finally see Ezra in action, and he has not matured at all as a Jedi, and even some of his dialogue, like the old like, oh, that's not mine. No, that's it. Like that was Ezra as a kid from Rebels that would be acting like that. I just assumed that he would be a different character, more mature. I expected like him to be a complete badass, because he's been in uh, like isolation, if you will, for so many years. What's he going to do? Is he going to hang out with those little turtle people, or is he going to perfect his craft? So I really expected something more from Ezra rather than the slapsticky thing that we got. But I will say that actor is perfect for playing Ezra. I just think that Ezra was not written well for his age that he is now. But as far as going back to where I thought he could be stronger is like all he does now is and I'm gonna force push everything and that was it. I needed to see a little something better than that. And him just relying on the force going up against
what's up with that? I don't get that. That makes no sense to me. Why would you not pick a weapon? Like Sabine's got more weapons than she can use.
Yeah. So, and I forget if it was. No, it was something.
Coming up in part 6, in contrast, wouldn't it, if we would have seen him actually like pick up a weapon and shoot a blaster and shit and whatnot? Like I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I mean, minimum a blaster, but and then, gosh, there's so many things I want to say, but it would give away stuff from part 8. So, I did like how Shin took a swing at Ezra and he was a little bit late at ducking and they like singed some of his hair off on top. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so as far as action and everything like that, I just had a little bit of an issue with Ezra, the way they wrote his character.
Okay, Khan, what do you think? The turtle people were involved, obviously, too. Like they did pitch in, but mostly Ezra was just like tighten up, like hide. They had the really cool little like hiding devices in all their little cars there, where they can all kind of like hide and whatnot and everything, right?
The Iron Dome.
Sabine was kicking ass again. Like she's pretty nasty in a scrap. Mm-hmm. She is. She's got some serious Mandalorian like fighting her. You know what I'm saying? And so what do you think of that whole scene and going into Ahsoka taking on Skull again for like round 2? Okay. I'll swing that over to you, Andres.
Sure. This is tough. I didn't mind like Ezra not using the lightsaber. I mean, if you think about it, like he is a little more experienced than Sabine is. Like in comparison, like the fact that he's using the Force, it like kind of makes sense. Now it is stupid that he didn't like took like at least a gun like as Sabine kind of offered him during that fight. So that was like kind of weird. Like, okay, I get you don't want to use the lightsaber. That's fine. Like I've seen that with some other Jedis. They don't like sometimes use Jedi. Like they use other like weapons in their disposal, right? In the situation. But that part was kind of weird. I guess I actually liked the scene. I mean, it was really cool. It was great to like see kind of like the whole Sabine Ezra relationship. And I think that was the great thing about this episode was seeing them together more. And I think the actor/actress just nailed the characters together. Now the writing with both of them have been kind of iffy, I would say in the series, but I thought that they were good together. I thought they at least land the comedy bits was funny. Like my favorite part was when they see the other Jedi villain, the lady that's with Ray Stevens' character, and she's like, one of your friends? Yeah, but not with was it sense of humor? That was funny. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, so it was a good action scene. It was funny when those turtles like came up and they had that like sling brain hit one of those like like bounty hunters, and like I was just laughing. I was like, come on, tell me they're not useless. And it's like I don't want to have conversation with these like snail/turtle creatures that are hard like are useless in a fight. Which I mean they're not useless in terms of hiding. At least they have a good hiding place. Like at least their ships like they ride like it's useful. But yeah,
and their shells camouflage them.
Oh yeah,
they could just turn into a rock.
Yeah. It was funny. You know what was funny? It was like I don't know, it was later, but it was now at this point. it was funny. The one of the like wolves that like horse wolves that we saw like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
They have them in the ship. It was funny. It was with one of the turtles, and I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. But yeah, I thought it was a great action scene. I mean, it was great to see blasters hit one another. But yeah, it was good. Action scene. I'm happy that it was like got action scene after action scene, which was good, and like we see more of Thrawn's like mastermind, like how he coordinates like the attack on our heroes. That part I actually enjoyed about this episode. We saw that a little bit last episode, but here we saw a bit more of that in this episode, which was good. And I thought that Exon was a great actor for Thrawn. I think his performance here was great, and yeah, I'm very excited to see more of this character soon. Because
I like how he translated from cartoon to live action. I was a little skeptical about how that was going to happen, and he's even changed the voice so you still hear Thrawn from Rebels in there, but it's it's in a real world situation, like so he had to change it slightly, but I think he's doing a killer job.
Going over to you. Same question as I gave Andres, Rathacon, and then bouncing off of Jay. We didn't have you guys for part 6. So, what did you think of finally seeing Thrawn? And and then of course, what did you think of the sort of like action scenes we got with Sabine and Ezra? Ezra not taking a weapon, right? Ahsoka kind of like entering the fray.
Okay, so before we start, just to clarify, the voice actor of Thrawn in Rebels is the same guy.
I knew that. Yeah, I knew that. But I'm just saying that he had to tweak the character so it's more real worldish, I guess. For lack of a better
still translated pretty well.
Oh yeah,
since he doesn't have a barber on that planet.
That is so
obviously
true.
or a dry cleaners either. Did you see the big stain on his shirt?
Okay, so going back to the question, bouncing off of Leech when he was like very upset that like Ezra was not grabbing the lightsaber and wasn't like cutting people's heads off. Okay, here's my theory, and this is what I thought as I was watching the whole sequence. I thought that after Ezra pushed Thrawn into this new galaxy and things happened, he naturally just lost his lightsaber. Oh, no, sorry, no. He gave his lightsaber to Sabine.
Sabine, yeah.
Oh, so he never had his lightsaber in the first place. So he had to learn how to like survive without a lightsaber. And when given a lightsaber in that sequence, I mean, it's going to feel weird, especially since you've never touched that in like so long. So if you want to have confidence in yourself and defending yourself, just don't use the lightsaber. Just do the same thing that you've always done for so long to defend yourself. That is why I thought it was reasonable that Ezra chose not to use the lightsaber.
Well said. That's probably the most legit, like, reasonable reason I can think of why you did it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good job, Con.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to add in on that third of the episode there? Anything with Ahsoka, Shinati, it's sort of like, Skull kind of descending her off and kind of being done with her?
I got nothing to add. Andreas and Leech already covered it all.
All right, Cyberneticshark, sir, would you like to interject?
Okie dokie. So basically, I mean, you're skipping all over the place. So
from
the arrival to finding Ezra, to them battling, that kind of stuff. I mean, that whole action sequence was great. I loved it. The interaction where they keep going back and forth kind of annoyed the hell out of me. I hate when they do that. I like it when they get to a point, then move on. Get to a point, move on. I hate when they keep going back and forth. It just kind of annoys me. But I'm sorry. the fucking stupid thing without the lightsaber with what's his face. It was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. I don't care what is behind it. I don't care. It was so stupid. This is Star Wars. You use a freaking lightsaber or a freaking gun. That's hands down what you do.
Hey, he's Jackie Chan, bro, in Star Wars. You have to admit that.
I don't care. I don't care.
You don't care.
Star Wars.
He's become
Jackie
Star Wars eternal people.
This is Star Wars. You gotta use a lightsaber. I just thought it was completely stupid. It was like, really, you're using the. I mean, I could get that if you were a super powerful Jedi, if you were like freaking Palpatine, or if you were Darth Vader, or even Ahsoka, I could see kind of doing that because they are very powerful beings. They're very powerful in the Force. Who cares which side they're on? They just know how to use the Force properly. So I could get it from one of them. But this like kid, like Leach was saying, how he's like, he seems to be stuck at like 12 years old. How his thinking and how his acting is. That's my thinking of why he decided to do that, because he wasn't thinking fully with his full brain. So I just thought the whole thing not using a lightsaber or any type of weapon was just stupid. But still, that whole sequence was really good. I liked it. The funny hermit crab people popping up, them in their little machines that look like a freaking hermit crab almost. And almost like a roly-poly almost going on there too for those.
Yeah, it does.
I'm like, what is this? An insect planet? What are we going on here? And but yeah, I mean, I think that the whole dichotomy there, especially the fight sequence between Balin and Ahsoka, that was badass. That was fantastic. I really wish they had finished more off with that sequence, but at the same time, just them taking on each other was really well done, and I really liked how they did that. I mean, we really didn't get to see much of the apprentice fighting again in this one. She was kind of running around the whole time. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They had that, but like when she shows up to start fighting her, Ahsoka does, that was really cool too. But I really enjoyed all the action in this episode. It was a really good episode. Just the only thing I had was that Ezra using the Force to try to fight people. That to me was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But other than that, the whole sequence was really well done. I mean, the sequence where they're hiding in the water, Ahsoka and Huang, and that was really cool. I like that. I liked how it showed all the debris and stuff like that, and them underwater and stuff. Kind of made me think of the beginning sequence of Phantom Menace when they're down in the Gungan city and they're flying up and they see all the different creatures. That made me kind of think of that. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, overall, really, really well constructed sequence and really enjoyable.
Okay, Mr. Real Wrath Khan, any thoughts at all? As we progress into the episode on sort of what I guess will be the last exchange between Hati and Skull, and then the battle ensuing between Skull and Ahsoka when they saber duel again, when that starts up again and whatnot and everything. Any thoughts on any of that as we move forward?
With Shathi and Skull,
their last sort of parting words, which I believe they were him sort of dismissing her.
To be honest, I didn't really think of that as departing. I guess it's more like something you always say going into battle, like, in case that person dies. I've always had this thought that, like, hey, they go into battle, they do their thing, and then when the time comes, they just retreat, they go to Thrawn's ship, and then just get out of that galaxy. I never really thought about it as truly a goodbye. Does anyone here agree with me, or does everyone disagree?
No, I kind of knew that Balin was on his own course at this point.
Like he's gonna stay on that planet.
Yeah, because he basically says to her right there, like, your ambitions lie in a different direction than mine. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what he basically says to her in other words. You know what I mean? It's that, like, like you're not a part of, like, you what you want is what Thrawn wants. Like, that's the power you want. That's the power I want. So yeah, that was him saying goodbye.
I guess so.
So that's why I just wanted to ask you quick, like, what did you think of that? If we do get a part season 2, for instance, right? I haven't seen the finale, but what do you think of that being sort of like the end of her being his Padawan?
I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up turning to an Inquisitor after that moment. Otherwise, I don't really have anything else to say other than maybe it was just destined to be like that, where they're just destined to part ways, kind of like how Anakin and Ahsoka parted ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Cyber, what do you think specifically on that discourse between Hati and Skull and him sort of dismissing her?
I thought that was exactly what he would do. That seemed perfectly what I would think Balin would do, because Balin has his own agenda. We have mentioned that in other episodes. And even though he says he's about this higher cause, that, because of what the Jedis represent and the, bad guys represent and stuff like that and blah, 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 he has his own agenda. And if you notice in the last couple episodes, kind of how he's held back at certain things, how he's not done certain things, because he has his own agenda. So that agenda includes Hattie. And so that's why, he dismissed her in this episode, because it's not a part of his plan. So who knows exactly what 100% his plan is? I mean, we kind of have an idea, but at the same time, he's leading on that way. So I think that, Hattie is kind of just excess baggage for him. And, that's why he's like, go live with the Empire, because I really don't want to deal with you. Let them deal with you, basically. So I think it's just kind of one of those things like, I'm moving on with my plan. I don't need you anymore. You are part of the plan up to this point.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where that went.
Go ahead, Leach.
I kind of looked at it as like almost like Balin is a father figure. When in episode 4, when they were talking about what was going to happen when they went to their destination, and he says we're gonna be powerful, more power than you could ever imagine. So she was part of that plan. And I think when they got to Peridia, I think he realized like how much trouble she could be in. Like, she wasn't ready for that journey. And I think that he loves her enough to say, this is where we got to end, because you're not going to survive this. You have a better chance of hanging out here, and maybe Ahsoka will take you under her wing or something like that. That's how I took that.
Andres?
Yeah, same here. I mean, as well, me and Jay has seen what's going to happen. It makes a lot of sense what happened with this episode. So it makes a lot of sense. But the part where Real Craft says something, which I'm not going to bring up what he say, it's somewhat true, not, but it goes in a different direction. So I wasn't surprised. So it made a lot of sense. I'm just kind of curious what we're going to do with the Ray Stevens character, like, because that's a like it's very much like a Dark Knight situation, and I mean, we'll see. When we get to the finale next week, we'll discuss that more in depth.
There you go. So basically we end up with Skull and and Ahsoka lightsaber, dueling and whatnot, everything, and she kind of ends up like, kind of taking off, I think, to basically go helping Sabine and Ezra, if I remember correctly. Because that's when all the stormtroopers show up that Thrawn, sent, to go ahead and make sure that the job is taken care of. Those 2 ships show up and whatnot, everything, they drop off all the stormtroopers and everything and all that. And Sabine and Ezra look like they're outnumbered and everything and whatnot, right? And that's when Huang, Mr. H, and and Ahsoka kind of like join the fray, right? We get some more turtle people shots and whatnot of them throwing rocks at. They do throw some rocks at like some of the stormtroopers and shit and whatnot, and some of the freaking the sand people type motherfuckers too.
The more badass version.
Yeah, some of them throw rocks. They're better. They're better than the sleek shots don't work out too well. Go ahead, Andres.
You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted. There you go.
Thank you. I
Uh-huh.
think that was Jeff's fault. I hate you, Jeff. anyway,
Wait, what?
I thought Jeff muted me.
No.
Oh my god. Anyway, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, um, maybe the force is corrupting me right now. Hello. First off, Ewoks use rocks and sling things in the Return of the Jedi, so it can work. I mean, it's just it didn't work on these like heavily armed bounty hunters that we don't know of. So yeah, so
So you're standing up for the turtle people. I get it. Okay.
Hey, let's go, Andreas.
I mean, hey, they're cute. I'll take them over those like pugs from Last Jedi. Like at least these turtles were useful than those pugs. They were just so annoying. Ugh.
Well, so basically, and that's that's before we get to sort of like the end of the finale of the episode again of part 7, because it is a pretty fluid, episode. We get, a really good lightsaber duel between Skull and Ahsoka, where Skull kind of says, you're going to lose. Like, you're going to like lose this, but they did a pretty good, good saber battle. And Ahsoka stepping in with Mr. H and whatnot and everything, and them having them taking out the stormtroopers, right, and everything and whatnot. Before we get into the end of the episode, Cyber, what'd you think of that whole? I guess you could probably say, for the Jedi dueling between Skull again and Ahsoka round 2, and then her interjection with Huang into the the fray to take out the stormtroopers and whatnot before we end up into like the last part of the episode. And what did you think of like us getting the Dark Sisters involved again? Helping them to help them, help triangulate where Ahsoka was and Thrawn in the episode. Do you have any thoughts on Thrawn?
Well, Thrawn is just awesome altogether. He's just one of those characters that you can't help but want more of. He's got that presence about him. He's got a great intuition and stuff like that. And it was funny at the part where they basically could have taken out Ahsoka at that moment. When they were chasing her, they could have kind of they could have had a good fight, but they could have kind of cornered her a little bit. And yet he decided, oh, let's we'll leave them alone and we'll let them come to us, basically. And that's totally kind of like that. I feel that's kind of villains in the Star Wars universe kind of deal. Like they always make that one mistake of letting the one person that can destroy them live kind of deal, and I feel Thrawn has his master plan in place and that he thinks that it's going to work. But, just like with any other, character, depending on what, storyline they're following, which we don't know. This master plan could really work really well for him. But from my experience in how TV series works and how all that kind of stuff, I feel that's going to be his kind of his Achilles heel there. But that planning was so initiatively done and so well done. That just shows how great of a commander, how great of a general he is. And I think that, unfortunately, because this is a Ahsoka show, I think they really should do a Thrawn show and give him his full gallery of what he should do and what he can do, because this character is just really cool. I just really like Thrawn. And the fact that, he is like the last remnant of the Empire kind of deal thing in Ahsoka, I think that would be a cool kind of like spin-off series if they decided to do that. But he's just such a cool character, and I feel like he kind of got pushed to the back burner on this one because he had a lot more screen time in the last episode. So it was kind of interesting to see, it more Ahsoka-centric on this episode finally. But at the same time, I think that he could have had a little bit of bigger role in this, especially because he's kind of considered the big baddie of the series. But overall, I just really enjoyed every moment he was in. That final confrontation there with the sisters, that was a really cool, move. Just how he presents himself is just really well done. And I think overall, the conclusion of the episode, I think it's an interesting way of leading into the finale, which hopefully it'll be really good, because I was really surprised at how good this episode was. And I just appreciated everything that went on in this episode, and they kind of, we're starting to get things a little bit more pushing in the direction it needs to go to complete this story arc for this series, or this season, I should say. And I think that like the whole bantering between Ezra and Ren, that I could have done without. I thought that was just kind of stupid. Them like getting buddy and crap like that again, and I just think that I think that was a waste of time. They could have focused it on something else, more Thrawn, maybe some more action or something like that. And I mean, we already know I hate Ren. I think the Ren character is the stupidest character. I mean, the only thing about her is I like that her Mandalorian armor keeps her from getting shot. That is cool. Like, I would totally want to have, as a Jedi, have Mandalorian armor to help me with my battles. So I give her props for. Even though they gave her this gay ass haircut, which doesn't look anything like from the cartoon series. I'm sorry, it's way too short to be that, because at least in the cartoon series, it's down to her shoulders. I mean, it looked better in the cartoon animated versus how it looks on this. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what are they trying? Like, what
is that why she hasn't banged Ezra? Because she's gone straight dyke.
Probably there with Cunt-Based Kit, that we're so well in love with, and I don't get why they made her hair look like that. I'm like, you could have made it look a little more similar to the animated cartoon series. I mean, look at Thrawn. Thrawn looks almost exactly like his character in the cartoon series, dead on. I mean, he looks fantastic, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, huh? I'm not too familiar with Ezra, what he looked like. So, I mean, I think how he looks in the series, I don't have any qualms with how he
Pretty
looks.
good comparison.
I think he looks kind of like a beatnik a little bit, which maybe that's how he looked in the cartoon series or whatever. But I mean, I think that guy, I think he's a pretty good, decent actor. He's pretty funny. I've liked him. And even when he was doing this stupid like force thing, he still was funny, kind of. I was laughing at when he was fighting like that. And I just thought it was kind of funny. And overall, I thought the conclusion of the episode was really good and left it on kind of a nice little lean into the final finale episode. And I appreciated it all. I thought it all worked really well. I liked the whole Leia Organa thing being brought in at the beginning too, as well. And just the whole ending, I feel like Ellsworth. I think that kind of her persona as Thrawn's like giving her orders and saying what he's doing, she seems like she's starting to become a flight risk a little bit there. And like that she's starting to change her tone on what's going on with this. Like she's starting to have her own agenda a little bit. And you can totally tell in like kind of the scenes where they had together, just him and her and him, I feel like she was kind of like, what's going on with Thrawn? Why is he not being the Thrawn I know? So I think that's kind of going to be interesting to see what happens with in the finale as well. So really great conclusion altogether, I thought.
Jay, since everyone hasn't took all the way to the end of the episode, you can feel free to do the same thing, but take as much time as you want. Basically, picking up from where Skull and kind of and Ahsoka have their short saber duel.
Yeah.
Then we go into everything I in detail from there, going into the end of the episode. What are your thoughts?
Refresh me, because I keep thinking about
you've got Ahsoka
yeah.
takes off from the saber battle to assist Ezra and Sabine, right, and the turtle people with Huang and the ship and whatnot, everything, because they're kind of outnumbered once the stormtroopers show up. Right. We get the Darth sisters helping, sort of like again popping up in the episode and whatnot, everything, helping Thrawn target where Ahsoka's location is and whatnot, and all things, being strategic and everything. Thrawn's getting some more screen time in the episode. Your thoughts on Thrawn so far, and then how things play out towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, I think Cyber like nailed it pretty much. My thing with Thrawn and the witches is kind of like, who needs who more? I like, it just seems like these witches are just these amazing beings, like almost like they have a connection to the Force or what have you, and then but then what's the name? Like Thrawn. Sorry, my phone's
Marking
ringing
this
and
is.
everything. Give me all right. I
But
gotta go for 1 second.
okay.
You're fine. All right, Rear at the Com. Your thoughts, sir? That whole section I just laid out, right? Take as much time as you want. Then we'll bring Leach in here and we'll get Andres in. What do you think?
Okay. So let's go. Let's start with the part where the Night Sisters triangulate Ahsoka's position. One thing that, as a Clone Wars fan, that I was surprised that Thrawn didn't ask the Night Sisters to do in this episode is to create a voodoo doll of Ahsoka and use their powers to, like, torture her, like, from far away, rather than, like, only be like a GPS service. Like, the Night Sisters
Like
are so
Dooku.
powerful.
Like Dooku. Like Dooku.
Yes, like that. Like, the Night Sisters are so powerful. And the thing that I did not like what these past few episodes have shown is that seems like as if their powers are more limited. I don't know why. It just does a disservice to the Night Sisters. That's the first thing. The second thing is I am surprised Ahsoka, like, after being, like, stuck in Malachor for a long time from, Rebels season 2, somehow she's still a great pilot. Like, the maneuver she did in that asteroid belt or space graveyard, whatever you call it, like, that was just amazing. Even after the Night Sisters, like, exposed her position. What else? I don't really have much else to add because Cyber
What'd you think
just
of
knocked it off the
what'd you think of
ballpark.
the skull and Ahsoka saber dueling again?
Oh, okay, that one. I was disappointed by the ending when Ahsoka asked Huang to just launch flares to, like, help hide her escape. Normally, I thought that Balin would do something like that and avoid fighting Ahsoka, but I'm surprised Ahsoka's the one who tried to escape from fighting Balin.
Well, she kind of had to help out Ezra and Sabine at that point too, though.
Even though they had it under control, though.
Just at that point, they did. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I thought that was kind of strange too. I didn't really.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to, like, see those two, like, actually have, like, a full battle where, like, you have a clear winner and a clear loser. This one is like the person who we think is gonna win just retreats.
I figured Skull was gonna die in this episode.
Yeah, but instead she chose to retreat. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I didn't see him surviving into the finale, to be honest with you. I thought the finale would go out. We wouldn't have him in the show anymore by then.
Yeah, I was thinking the finale more, like, focuses on them stopping Thrawn rather than Balin.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about the finale in just a minute. But do you have any other thoughts?
No.
Andres, or excuse me. Let me go back to Leach and let you finish up. Leach, before when you had gotten started talking about Thrawn and everything and whatnot, the Dark Sisters.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, the Night Sisters, like, I just don't see what, like, I don't know, like, they just seem like they're too powerful, and what would they need Thrawn for? And or what could they gain by working with him? I would think that he would just be like, nothing to them. Does that make sense? Like, it's something like supernatural, and then, like, Thrawn is basically just like some human guy. I think there's, like, something more that they're not letting us know yet about the Night Sisters, their deal together.
Okay. Do you have any other thoughts on the rest of the episode? Feel free, and from there on, like, going all the way to the end. I mean, before I ask about the finale and we drop our ratings, anything
well,
you want
to? I do like with the addition of the Night Sisters, gives it almost like a horror movie feel, which in the next episode, like, takes it to 11. Okay, so not to give something away, but like it's good that it came out in October because it's really almost like it's definitely like a horror movie theme. The next episode, and they kind of touched on it in episode 7, but yeah, it's crazy. I can't wait till you guys see the next episode.
All right, Andres, your thoughts, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of agree with Rafikon about the fight between the Ray Stevens versus Ahsoka thing was kind of weak. I unfortunately I think they were maybe having plans for that character to be long term, but now they fortunately what happened with Ray Stevens passing, it's gonna be awkward. So we have to deal with that. I don't know how. I mean, it's like, what are we gonna do? We'll see how they're gonna pay off this character in the future, but it's gonna be very kind of just like one quick dialogue probably fix that. And that's it. We're not gonna see that character again. I mean, yeah, I think they could have done more with that fight scene. I mean, the fact that Ahsoka was so confident and she like. I think that's always the problem with the Star Wars fights, or in TVs. Like they're so powerful, right? Like you got the Jedi's and the whatever villains they are, Sith or whatnot. They're so powerful, and you have to be careful because especially long term. Like that we're going to see these characters again, so they cannot do nothing to like hurt them and all that. It's very TV cliche, so I understand why they did it and what they did it. So it's like, yeah. Despite literally everyone had everything under control. Like nothing wasn't that desperate, like the previous episode. Yeah, and I guess it was the I guess the other disappointment. I don't know if you guys have this was the Haiti character. Like I don't like that are we going to do the redemption arc for her character? Like what do you guys think? Is she gonna go the dark side or the light side? Like,
No, I think we're eventually going to see that Ezra is going to take over Sabine's training, and Ahsoka is going to Shin's training.
Okay.
I see her leaning towards the dark side.
Okay.
No, leaning. Ahsoka is going to bring her on with her. So they'd be working together, master and apprentice.
Okay.
So,
okay. That makes sense. Okay, because I don't know. I mean, I get it makes sense because she's like very young. Like she's not yet like she doesn't know where she's at as a person with this force. So it makes sense.
And if you guys are familiar with the Heir to the Empire book series, there's a character called Mara Jade, who worked for the Emperor. She was the hand of the Emperor was her title. She ends up like her mission is to kill Luke Skywalker, and by the end they're hooking up, and she becomes Luke's wife. So I really think that Shin is going to be the Mara Jade character for the Heir to the Empire movie or what have you.
Oh, that you think that the Vandoverse is kind of heading towards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you really haven't addressed that. Andres, do you have any other final thoughts on the towards we get to the end of the episode?
No, I mean it was a very fun action scene. It was great to see all three characters renewing again. They were friends. I did laugh that Ezra was laughing that she thought that Ahsoka was dead, and like the fact that she survived. Like it was very funny. Like she didn't came out. Yeah,
It's because the last time he saw her was when she was stuck on Malachor. I mean, she was supposed to be dead, but somehow she lived.
Yeah. So, it's just funny when how these Jedi's can escape death. like as Thrawn say, like
Yeah,
they, it's like a very normal thing. Like, come on, like how many times that like Obi-Wan and Anakin got into these like very like just like death situations that should not be alive,
Mhm.
So it's not surprised that he made that comment. But yeah, overall, I like this. I love this finale. This was a great part of the episode to lead into the finale, because the finale takes this up to the notch, I can say, without revealing things. And Rafa Khan, you brought up the sister thing. They really showed the power more in that next episode, as Jay just alluded to, which is great. And yeah, it was very hard. I wasn't expecting that in that next episode. So yeah, I love this episode. It was my second favorite after episode 4. So yeah.
All right, Cyber, sir, ratings and your final thoughts going into the finale.
All right. So I give this a giant 10 out of 10. It was a great episode. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was really done well. Great action, great everything, and just all the way fun. Leading up to the finale, I'm just really curious as what they're gonna do, what exactly how they're gonna wrap this up with. Are they gonna have it where they completely have taken care of Thrawn? Is Thrawn gonna make it out of there? Does Thrawn become free again? Do they just stop Thrawn? I am interested in seeing what happens to Hattie, what happens to you know her master, what happens with Ahsoka. I could care less what happens to Sabine. I'd be interested to see what happens to Ezra. And it'd just be interesting to see just all what entails and how like the Senate takes it and what the Senate does with it, and if they have them give aid and all this kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to hopefully an action-packed episode. Looking forward to just seeing how this season, ends, and if it leads, us into a possible second season or even a spinoff of some sort. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm going to drop a solid 9. And I'm all for season 2. I hope they do a season 2. I really do. It's a spinoff or a season 2 or something. This show deserves a second season. I don't even need to see the finale to know that. Leech.
All right. I give it also a 9. I didn't think it was the best episode. I mean, like everything pales to episode 5. That was just friggin' phenomenal.
Baby.
Yeah. So the whole Ezra thing is really wearing on me. That's the only reason why I gave it a 9. But leading into episode 8, I've already seen it, so I don't want to give anything away. Just you're in for a fucking ride. It is awesome.
All right.
And like I said, there's a horror theme to it.
Then that sounds good. Wrath of Khan, what do you got, brother?
I'm gonna rate that a 9 out of 10. I was really entertained with how those turtle people were defending themselves against the sand people of this new galaxy. I see you laughing, Jeff. I see you.
I just love sand people, how racist it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
It's so, yes. Well, I was born in the desert, so yep, you can call me
you're
person
allowed.
too. It's all good. Well, what do you want me to call them? Samurai? Because they look like samurai.
I use the word sand people all the time. Fuck it, man. I don't care. I'm a Tuscan translator. Come on.
Yeah, but
Okay. Yeah. I mean, overall, I really like this 9 out of 10. The only thing I didn't like was that Ahsoka didn't kill Balin, or Balin didn't kill Ahsoka. But that was it.
Something, right? Some kind of action.
Something is better than nothing.
Some kind of finality to that shit. I feel you. That's why I was like, what? I was like, come on now.
Yeah.
What is this bullshit? Andres, what do you got, sir?
Okay, so I'm with Borat at 9 out of 10. This was my second favorite episode. of the series after episode 4. I'm sorry, folks. I like episode 5, but I like episode 4 more. It was just a more intense and action-packed episode. But this episode was also great too. I mean, it gave you everything. Like I'm fine with multiple storylines, and this episode did a good job of handling, side plots, like having the Ahsoka one, the Thrawn, and then the Ezra and Sabine thing. Like it was handled so well in this episode. The finale, just non-spoil review. I really love the finale. It does, like, leading up to it, it makes you be excited for the future of Star Wars. I would say for either a second season, a movie that what was it? Filoni is developing. Like you're going to be excited because there's a plan that they want to do for the Star Wars stuff, and that's good because that was something that was a huge problem with the sequel trilogy. There like no plan for the sequel trilogy, like just so this is very promising, and it's definitely my top favorite finales I've seen in for a season, which is good. So I'm very excited to talk about next week.
Yeah, me
with you
too.
guys, because I'm like, oh my god, I don't know why I did it to see it today. I was like, let me see, and I wasn't expecting the things they did. I was like, oh my god.
Well, hopefully everybody will come back for the finale, right? And
Yeah.
we'll have a packed house of a packed panel, and we'll jam it out. In the meantime, let's call quits on Ahsoka Part 7. What is it? Dreams. What is it? Dreams of Madness.
Yep.
And we'll go to plugs. Andre's a pop culture guy. What is up, sir? How's the subscriber count going?
Very pretty good. It's been slowing, rising as usual. But yeah, so yeah, thank you everyone from the MCU Bleeding Edge community. I'm up to 812 subscribers. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys been so helpful. So recently, I just put up another birthday tribute to Cindy Prescott from the horror franchise Scream. Of course, Nev Campbell's birthday was yesterday, so that was a good time for the to do a tribute for this awesome character from the 5 Scream films. Tonight, I'm gonna post something else, and then more hopefully more Halloween horror kind of content I'll post soon. But yeah, so thank you everyone. Help me and Cyber hit that mark for our channels and hit that like button, please. It's I've been very grateful for you guys. You've been awesome. So, but yeah, that's it.
Cyberneticshark, sir. And Jay, what's going on over at DJB Productions? Are we going to be doing this RoboCop thing at some point soon, or what?
Man, I hope, man. I honestly have no more insight than you do. Things are moving slow. Pretty soon we're going to get into the holiday season when Danny's the busiest and he can't do them. So hopefully we'll have something in November.
I hope so. I haven't recorded with Danny in forever. I was hoping to come over. I even watched all the RoboCop stuff he told me to watch and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, hey, I'll let you know as soon as I know anything.
Well, I'm in the group, in the chat, so, I'll ask Danny what's going on. But, Leech, thanks for coming on, brother. If you want to take off, feel free, brother.
Okay. Yeah, I got to go tingle.
Jess, if you want to chat, brother, you can take off, sir. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me
on,
see you
next
guys.
Week.
All right. Cyberneticshark, sir. Let me pull you up real quick. There you are, sir. $6.99.
Yep, still $6.99. So one away from 700 people. Of course, if you enjoy me here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, definitely check out my solo content underneath Cyberneticshark. You can find me there on pretty much any social media platform. My main base, of course, is YouTube. My most recent video there, of course, is the Marvel's trailer reaction. And that surprisingly has gotten some views. I'm really surprised. At first, it was like 25, and then all of a sudden it shot up today to 100 something. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, that's interesting. But anyways, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time, my review of A Haunting in Venice will pop up on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen that movie or have seen it, check out my review of it. As of course, because it's Halloween time, it's October. I'm doing a lot more horror-themed reviews on my shorts here. As you can see, I've been doing the Child's Play series. So yeah, keep your eyes on those. and be doing more of those and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get to that magical 1,000 mark. Get us there so that we can do that. Eventually, supposedly somebody's supposed to, start a contest, but
I've got it going.
we still haven't seen it because, I don't know. It sounds like a far-fetched plan, but it could happen.
I promise. I've had some personal issues. My fentanyl crack experimentation sociological study I was doing hasn't worked out so well, but I promise, sir, I will launch the giveaway as soon as I possibly can. In the meantime, folks, you can see all of us on Friday when we do Loki with Cyber moderating, Loki season 2, episode 1, Friday evening. I believe what did they already drop? The first 2 episodes?
Just the first one.
Just the first one.
The first one, yeah.
And it's tomorrow.
When did it come out? Yesterday?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, it does come out tomorrow.
Yeah, the 5th.
Oh, okay, all right. And then what? It's coming out at the same time as Ahsoka?
It's around 9 p.m., I believe.
Okay, so they lowered the time down from what usually is 3 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. I only know is it drops on Thursday. It's gonna be a Thursday show. So
you weren't here, Cyber. I picked up the first season of Loki at Best Buy. We talked about that. Remember that they finally decided to put that stuff out on DVD.
Yep, and WandaVision's coming, and so does the 2 first season of Mandalorian.
Oh, okay, the Mandalorian too, huh?
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, there you go, folks. Thanks again, folks. Thanks for supporting the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We're almost at what?
We're over 33,000.
Almost at 35K. Yeah,
we're over 33,000, so we're getting close to 34.
We're probably going to be close to having a 50,000 subscriber, some kind of subscriber special or something like that, folks. And I actually probably will end up giving away that Loki season 1 DVD that I purchased from Best Buy, and probably just making that some kind of thing that we'll do for the 35,000 mark when I do the giveaways for these gentlemen. So that's pretty much why I bought it. And we'll probably that's something that we can give away. I think that people will enjoy. When WandaVision comes out, whatnot, everything, I'll pick that up too. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed this review of Ahsoka Part 7. And we're looking forward to the finale next week on Wednesday. Cyber will be wrapping up moderating the finale and wrapping up. He started this off and he's wrapping up the end. Andres will be here. And then we're basically not going to be doing any movie reviews for a couple of weeks here. But we've got Daryl Dixon episode 1. That's right. Just one.
Just one week, just not next week.
Oh, that's right. We have this. We have Hateful Eight, right?
Yeah, Hateful Eight will be the Wednesday after next.
That's right. We have Hateful Eight next week. That's Wednesday. That's right. We got Daryl Dixon episode 5. Andres.
Yeah.
Not next Wednesday. The Wednesday after, sir.
Wednesday after. I'm sorry. After Ahsoka ends.
Yes.
After the finale. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Cyber. There you go, folks. True knowledge, as usual. Uber professional. We'll see you next time. God bless all of you, and take care. We'll see you on the next show. Peace. As nothing happens.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard.